Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 12th and final round.
Right hand, Golovkin steps in and down he goes again. Unbelievable. Mayweather makes him pay. What a rookie mistake. A sensational left hook by De La Hoya.
It's fact. I'm the best. You know what I mean? Sometimes I don't want to believe it myself, but it's the truth. I'm the best. I'm going to show you how great I am.
From Southern California, this is the Last Round Podcast.
Back from New York, Mike. Did you miss me? Because you had to lead last week on your own for the first time. I normally lead. So the last week was the first time she led in 30 episodes. So it seemed like he was kind of nervous. You did all right, though, right, Mike?
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad. Not too bad. But we're back. The team is back together. The band is back together. We actually got a bigger band tonight. We got a repeat guest who brought his brother this time. Who should have been here last time, but you weren't.
Yeah, I know.
Golden Boy, Lex. My man Lex Luthor right here. Alexis Rocha and his brother Ronny Rios. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much for having us here, man. What a pleasure.
We appreciate it. We appreciate you guys coming in. So obviously you guys just coming off some W's.
Yeah.
Right? Who fought first? It was Ronny.
No, I fought first.
You fought on Friday.
I fought Thursday night.
And you fought Thursday night Fantasy Springs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's because I was like, who fought first?
Yeah.
I didn't want to get it confused. So I'm kind of glad you're here, Ronny, because last time Alexis was here, and then
So you're not glad Lex is here? Or?
No, I know that. Get out of here. Now you're trying to stir up some shit right here. No, forget it. Of course I'm glad he's here. Don't throw me to the bus like that. No, because last time he came in, I was like, where's Ronny at? He's like, I couldn't make it. I was like, all right, next time he has to come down.
Yeah.
He has to come down.
Get the brothers back.
Lex, I'm glad you're here.
Thank you, man.
Thank
you so much. I appreciate it.
Stop kissing his ass, man.
He's like, so you weren't glad I was here the first time, huh?
Nah, get out of here. But once again, guys, we appreciate you guys coming in. We are at episode 31 of the Last Round Podcast. Once again, Danny Z and Michael Shepard here. We'll start with Lex.
Yeah.
Coming off a W, how'd you feel?
Felt good. Felt good to finally get some rust off. It's been 7 months since my last fight in the Canelo card. Right.
Was that how long it's been?
It's been 7 months.
Really?
Long 7 months.
Holy crap.
So it felt good finally getting back in there. So now that I'm off this victory, shed some rust off, back in there hopefully this summer.
Help me pronounce his name, your opponent's name.
I don't know.
Oh, come on, man. You fought him.
I don't even know.
Saki?
How do you pronounce it, Mike? He's better.
I would just go with Saki.
Saki?
Saki, yeah.
Shoki or how do you
Sakai? Yeah.
Sakai, I think, yeah.
Sakai.
Shoki Sakai.
Shoki Sakai.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, especially when you fight guys I'm assuming, was it hard to find any film on this guy?
No, there's a lot of film on him.
Yeah? Because I'm assuming back in the day there was times where you fought guys and it was hard to find stuff.
That's
right?
early in your career when they pretty much just throw these guys at you. They throw these guys at you. You can't find any film on them. But now once the stages get bigger, the opponents get harder. There's gonna be a lot of film on them. He
was kind of like an interesting opponent because he was Japanese, but fights out of Mexico.
Yeah,
with Freddie Roach.
What? Yeah, he's with my dad's side's from all
no way. He was with Nacho Bernstein.
Nacho Bernstein.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, Nacho.
No way, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What a combination that was.
He's Japanese, but he speaks fluent Spanish.
He lives. He lives in Mexico City year round.
Does he really?
Yeah, he lives.
No way. Hey, that's dedication right there, man. That's dedication right there. It's like the guy who co-hosted with last week, Thompson Boxing, Christian Crowley.
That's our guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's our guy. Irish-Mexican. Same thing.
Yeah, he lives with us. Yeah. Well, not with us, but in the same city.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to Christian Crowley, who was, he filled in for me last week, and you guys did pretty good, the English men together.
I knew he replaced you. He was good.
He was good, yeah. He almost took my spot. How did you celebrate? Anything specific, or was it just all right?
Coke. Always got to join Coke after the fight.
Do you really?
Yeah. That's
so you're more of a Coke guy instead of a Pepsi guy?
Oh, I love Coke, yeah.
Really?
I prefer Coke any day over Pepsi.
So if somebody gave you a Pepsi, you'd be like, nah.
I mean, when I'm thirsty, I'll drink it, but I prefer a Coke.
Ronny, are you a Coke guy too, or Pepsi?
You know what?
Are you not a soda guy?
No, I am, of course. But I remember before I was always going to Coca-Cola. But the thing is, this time for some reason I tried Pepsi, and Pepsi was delicious. It's funny.
Alexis shaking his head. I was like, nah, get out of here.
I don't know, man. But they actually did this survey where they got 10 people and they gave each of them a Coke and Pepsi without naming the product. And I think it was like 8 or 9 out of the 10 picked Pepsi. But when they found out it was Pepsi, they went back to Coke. So,
oh wow,
taste wise, yeah.
Oh, he's trying to convert you, Lex.
Nah, you ain't converting me.
But you re-signed with Golden Boy like a couple months ago, right? Like in November.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's a long-term deal. I mean, you don't have to divulge details, but are you stuck for a while?
Not for a while. It's only added a couple of years. That's about it. But Golden Boy's been fair to us. I'm very grateful I'm with them, and we signed one of the best promotional companies out there, and it was good to work with them.
How long have you guys been with Golden Boy now, man? Because I remember
Ronny all his life.
Yeah, Ronny, pretty much. Man, I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, man, I remember Ronny was at Canelo Cotto in 2015, and like
even before that.
But I was trying to think back and and I mean, how long have you guys been with them now?
Oh my! They started in my career.
Was it 18?
3 years now.
Yeah, I'm about to say like 7 or 8 years, I think.
Dang,
yeah,
man.
It's been a while.
That's crazy.
Must be doing something right though.
Yeah. Have you guys ever been approached by other promoters? I mean, Ronny probably because you've been there longer, but like, hey, when your contract's up.
You know what? I was approached by somebody else where they're like, hey, you know what? We should talk to somebody else. But I was like, no. I was like, I don't want to stir the pot. And not only that, Golden Boy has been good to me, and especially I want to name somebody out there from Golden Boy that's the reason why I stayed with them is Robert Diaz. Like I have a special connection with them, and he's been very, very helpful. He's been, he's mentored us a lot, and he's given us a lot of pointers and stuff. So that's the reason why I personally decided to stay with Golden Boy.
Yeah, shout out to Robert Diaz.
Yeah, he seems like a really good dude.
Yeah, he's a real good dude. He's an honest guy too. You see, you meet not just in boxing but everywhere else. When you can tell a BSer from a regular guy, and he says it the way it is. That's one of the reasons why I can be myself with them. I'm not a BSer type of guy. So that's the reason why I stayed with Golden Boy was because of Robert Diaz.
Who's nicer, him or Eric Gomez?
Yeah, what instigate? I mean, personally, I've never actually spoken too much with Eric Diaz.
Yeah.
Eric Gomez.
Eric Gomez.
Yeah, Eric Gomez. But Robert Diaz is like, my go-to guy.
That's cool, man. That's cool. No, yeah. I mean, we've heard quite a lot from past guests and then other people in the industry that Robert Diaz is top-notch guy, and then he did Steve Kim and Mario Lopez podcast a couple months ago. He had a good
story, didn't he?
And he
got into boxing.
He had a good story. He has a kind of a good radio voice, actually.
Yeah, he does.
I was like, he needs to jump on behind the mic somewhere, man. The mic.
He knows the sport very well too. He was a manager before he was a matchmaker.
Yeah, I had heard like bits and pieces about how he got into the sport, but that was the first time where you heard it from his mouth. How he got into the sport, like he met was it Barrera at the mall in like San Diego, and like he went up to hey, I'm a huge fan, and I was like, what the hell? And then from there just just went up,
became part of his team, and
he was a very good manager, and he was an awesome manager. But honestly, I just think he has good taste in the way he dresses. Yeah. Me and him were always talking. We were always like, nah, I would wear this with that. I was like, no, I don't know. Like, he's a good guy to take hints from.
That's cool. But going back to Lex, how are you making are you good making 147 right now? You having any problems?
Nah, no problems. Still at it comfortably. Hopefully my body grows within the
right.
next couple of years. I'm still 21. Barely becoming a man, I should say.
Barely becoming a man.
Yeah, barely becoming a man. So hopefully, if once I start struggling, then it's time to move up to 154. But
you're good right now.
Yeah, I'm planning to stay at 147 for the remainder of the year and for many of the years, I should say.
Right. Okay. Because I mean, hearing talk from because it came to my head like Danny Garcia. Was saying, and then his dad Angel Garcia was saying, like, I probably have maybe 2 fights at welterweight left. So I was like, oh, okay, I wonder how these. And I think Jaime Munguia's team even said, like, eventually he's gonna move up to 160.
Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, he said the same thing, right? He's like, I probably can't even make 135 by July. So, so I was wondering. I was like, I wonder how Lex is gonna do it. Yeah. What about you, Ronnie?
122, maybe less than a year, I would say.
Less than a year?
Yeah, maybe.
So 126.
Yeah, of course. Well, I was at 126 for a lot of years.
Yeah, you were. I remember you went back down.
I can possibly, if everything goes well, hire nutritionists to help me out a little bit more because obviously they know more than we do. But, maybe probably less than a year, realistically wise, because I'm still I feel like I'm still getting a little bigger.
Yeah.
Not height-wise. But,
You saw how he pumped up his chest.
Yeah. Man, this is the time when we need cameras in here. You could have saw that. Told you, Mike, we got to get this on YouTube. See?
I know, especially with Ronny doing that.
I know. I wasn't pumping my chest. It was my arms. It was my arms. Just
His veins are all popping on everything now. Look at his biceps.
It's coming out of that shirt, man. What's going on over there?
I'm flexing out right now, guys. I'm about to pass out.
But, Lex, for people who don't know, you were one of the primary sparring partners for Mikey Garcia.
Yeah, I was.
For his fight against Errol Spence.
Yeah.
And that's, when we were scheduling you guys to come on, that's one thing I wanted to ask you. Mm-hmm. Obviously there's a lot of people disappointed with his performance. What do you think? Because you were in his camp for quite a while for that, right?
I just think Mikey just stepped up 2 weight classes. Respect to him. He stepped up 2 weight classes to fight 146, the monster at 147 to most people. He's the boogeyman, Errol Spence, and I just think I think it just came down to the size. Mikey has all the experience and all the skill and all the technique in there, but I think it just came down to your size advantage.
Do you think because there's fans, people want to see, you guys are boxers, people want to see we want to see you go for it, blood and guts and everything.
Yeah.
But you guys are in the ring and you got to think about what was that fight? Who stepped up in weight? Kell Brook and Triple G.
Yeah,
he stepped up in weight.
Amir Khan.
Yeah, and Amir Khan with Canelo. They stepped up in weight, and Kell Brook more than Amir Khan, I would say, but. He went for it. He tried to do his thing, and Triple G just kind of demolished him.
Came down to size,
and he's never really been the same. So I wasn't really disappointed in Mikey that he didn't go for it, because I was like, well, if he would have went for it, I didn't want him to turn out like Kell Brook, where his kind of career kind of fades away or kind of goes downhill, because Mikey still has a lot left in the tank. So I think he kind of realized that. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna kind of step back here. I think he was still looking for openings, but I think he knew okay, this guy's obviously. As soon as he felt the punches, it's a lot different. You have a game plan until you get punched in the face, right?
Of course, especially with somebody heavier like that. Like going back to Kell Brook, I think fundamentally and technical wise, I think he was one of the best fighters at 147. I remember when I saw him fight Sean Porter live, and I've known Sean Porter since the amateurs. I saw him fight at 165, against I can't remember Edwin Rodriguez and stuff like that. So he was a good fighter. So when I saw him fight, he was a good fighter, and he's a good friend of mine. I'm talking about Sean Porter.
Right.
So I was like, I think Sean Porter is going to take this, because I had never heard of Kell Brook. But then I saw Kell Brook. I was like, man, this guy is good. I was like, wow, this guy is really, really good. I remember, I think he knocked him down too. And then I think after Sean Porter, I think it was less than a year, he bypassed 154 and went to 160. Yeah, and I think that's why nowadays we have weight classes, especially that's 13 pounds. People be like, 13 pounds is nothing. But in boxing, 2 to 3 pounds is a lot.
Right.
Man, when you're dehydrated and you have to cut those last 0.8 is a lot. Now imagine 13 pounds. That's a lot, especially for Triple G, which at the time he was undefeated, and a lot of fighters didn't want to fight Triple G. Yeah. Same thing with Errol Spence. A lot of people were like, oh, Mikey Garcia. They were talking negative about him. But look, man, Mikey Garcia, in my opinion, at 140, he was still a little bit small, but he still went up to 47, which is 7 pounds more. And that's 5% of his body weight. He still went up to 47. He fought the guy that a lot of people did not want to fight. Right. The top fighters at 147 did not want anything with Errol Spence. And he went, he didn't get the W, but he heard the final bell, and he made a ton of money. So at the end of the day, people they can talk bad about all they want about Mikey, but Mikey, I have a feeling he's gonna come back at 140, maybe 135, and he's still gonna win titles and still make good money.
Right.
Watch.
No, he's still a name, and
he got that experience too. Because in boxing, trust me, man. In my opinion, I don't think it's like Kell Brook where he broke his orbital fracture, stuff like that. So I still think he's gonna come back strong at 140, possibly 135, and still win world titles and make 7, maybe 8 figures.
And real quick, I wanted to touch on the pay-per-view numbers for that fight. The reported pay-per-view numbers. Everybody's saying oh, Errol Spence, he drew this, he drew that. Honestly, I think Mikey drew most of those buys.
With the Mexican fan base.
Yeah. I mean, I get it because they're talking about Spence Crawford now, and okay, Spence drew more, and Crawford, against Khan didn't reportedly do as well. But I think Mikey drew a lot of those buys.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you're right. Like the Mexican fan base, you guys know.
Yeah.
Like
And
they love boxing.
He hangs out with a lot of celebrities in the Mexican community too, so they're gonna support him.
Yeah, I mean, I know Spence. You know, he drew. Obviously, you know, he drew some numbers, but like, you got to give credit to Mikey because like Mikey, you know, is a name, and he did bump up that buy rate. So
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
Daring
Mike?
to be great, yeah. I agree. I think that, you know, all the Mexican fans, and he was daring to be great, so people didn't want to miss it.
Yeah, I mean, people were like, if he would have gone that W, I think he would have been for sure, hands down, the best pound for pound fighter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But don't get me wrong, like I think Spence is he's a real technician, and he puts his punches together. You know, he has good power as well too. So it's very fundamental.
I think people underestimated him, didn't they, going into the fight, Errol Spence? Even like Mikey said, you know, he didn't realize how good he was.
Yeah, I think people are probably there's gonna be people that be like, oh, they'll give him his props, and then there's gonna be another group of people that's like, oh, Mikey was too small, and they're gonna still discredit Errol Spence.
Yeah. Going back to you, Lex, I was looking through your Instagram, and you had quite an interesting picture from the US boxing team with Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney.
What?
Yeah, I was in the junior Olympic team with them. On the junior USA team with them. I traveled to 4 different countries with them. I was alongside with them as teammates.
Could you tell back then that those two were going to do big things?
Yeah, I could tell Shakur more than anyone. I could tell about him because he won gold in the Ipod Junior Worlds. So I knew the future was bright for him. But Devin Haney was also a good fighter too.
Devin Haney just signed Matchroom, right? Or DAZN?
Yeah, with Eddie Hearn, I just saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big move.
Something like 750,000 minimum per fight.
Yeah, that's a big move. That's a big move.
That's what they're saying.
I mean, because he was with Showtime for a while now. DAZN's scooping all you guys up, man. It doesn't stop.
It's gonna be the new face of boxing.
That's the new.
It really is.
Yeah, it
really is.
Right,
but you know what I like about them is that they really are trying to be, because they've said like they're trying to be like compete with ESPN, because they go and they interview other fighters from other promoters and other networks.
Yeah.
And because I was like, well, that's what I wanted to see. Like, if you're really trying to compete with all these other, you know, global sports networks, then you're gonna have to go across the aisle and create content.
Yeah.
And they do. They've interviewed like Crawford. They've interviewed like some PBC guys and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, they're doing it.
It's good because you get sick of listening to the biased opinions. You know, they ask them like, "Oh, who's pound for pound?" and they choose someone who's on their network.
Yeah,
which
I mean, I get it. It's a
know,
business move. I get it. I mean, we understand, but you're right though. It's a nice change of pace to hear like, oh, you know, that's cool. You know, we get it. What is this? I read. Are you bursting your coach's mitts when you're punching him, or what?
Yeah, he gets some new mitts every time, and
what? Are you serious?
Yeah, I just pop right through him every time.
I just pop right through.
I pop up, I'll say 5-6 pairs already.
Do you really like think about it before you're like, all right, I'm gonna pop through this one?
No,
or do you just do it?
Yeah, I'm just going, you know, just to get my work in, you know.
So you owe coach a bit of money then?
What was that?
You owe your coach a fair bit of money?
A little bit of money. You know.
What about you, Ronnie? Can you burst through mitts like your brother?
No, we were two different fighters. I'm a 122 pounder. I can't do that.
And nobody says you can't do it, man. Like,
I can probably bite through it, but not.
So, Lex, when you hoping to get back to the ring, or is there any timeline right now?
No time off. I'm back in the gym, but hopefully in this summer, I still just gotta wait for Golden Boy, Robert Diaz, and just back at it. But
it's not going to be another 7-month layoff, right?
No. Those are due to injuries, you know.
No, right. Yeah, but I mean, other than that, you're okay right now.
I'm fine. I'm great. I can't wait to go back in there, but I'm just staying busy in the gym. That's it. That's all you got to do.
That's where it's at.
Yeah.
Fantasy Springs in June. Andrew Cancio's back out, isn't he?
Oh, is he fighting the rematch?
Yeah. So hopefully we can get on that one.
Yeah.
That was a moment, man. That was a moment.
What was that? That was in January, right?
Yeah, it's at the beginning of the year, January or February.
February?
Yeah.
What a moment that was, man.
You've actually fought Cancio, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, Roddy.
Yeah.
What'd you think about that? Especially, you know.
I think Andrew Cancio, you know, proved a lot of people wrong, man. I think he set an example for other fighters to follow your goals, man. Because at the end of the day, people will write you off, and it's up to you to prove those people wrong. But at the same time, you want to do something not to prove those people wrong, but to prove yourself right. You know, just to have that clarity in your mind. Oh, I can do this.
Right.
And he did it. You know, congratulations to him, man.
What a
It was like a dream.
Yeah.
It's like a story for a dream.
Yeah,
a guy who's a part-time fighter, still has a job, ends up winning a world title.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I remember I asked him after the fight because we were there, and then I asked him after the fight. I was, because everybody was all over him and stuff, and he had the belt right there. And then, he's from Blythe originally.
Yeah.
I was like, so what? You're gonna run for mayor now or what? And then, he started laughing, and then like a couple weeks ago, he gets honored by the city. I was like, all right, he's thinking about it. He's thinking about it.
Key to the city, baby.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's getting closer there. So if it happens, I'm like, hey, I called it.
He's the next mayor.
He's the next mayor of Blythe, man. But that's cool. That's a cool story. And then hopefully the rematch is just as exciting. That was a cool fight. But Ronny, so you fought the next day after your brother.
Yes.
At the Forum. Hey, so what happened? They put you after the stream? You were supposed to be on the stream, right?
I don't know. There was a lot of confusion to be honest.
Yeah, because Mike was there covering, and
I was at both.
Yeah, he was at both.
Yeah, I saw you after that.
yeah, he was at both.
I like Mike. Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
I was in New York, man. I would have been there.
Were you there, Danny? No.
I was in New York. Yeah, Mike texted me and he was just like, yeah, they put Ronny after the stream. I was like, what? Oh man, because I was watching on my phone and it was like, he's after the stream. So I mean, was that just some logistics or what?
I have no idea. That was, I guess it was co-promoted and stuff like that. But I remember they were telling me, like, hey, they might bump you down, they might bump you after the main event. I was just like, you know what, man?
You just want to fight.
Yeah, I was like, it's been over a year. I don't care where they put me. I don't care where we fight. I just want to get back in there. And it felt real good to go back in there,
So you defeated Daniel, is it Olea?
Yeah. I mean, I was saying that people were calling him Olea or something else. I can't remember what.
Nah, you got to put the Hispanic accent.
That's what I said.
Say Olea, Mike.
Olea?
See, he's all right. He can do it.
I think, no, they said Ole. I was
Ole.
Like, I was like, yeah.
Like a bowl or something?
Yeah, because they kept calling him in the back and they're like, Daniel Ole. I was like, in my head, I was like, man, who is that?
So his corner stopped at 5th round, right?
After the 5th, yeah.
After the 5th. So how'd you feel about that? Especially coming, being out of the ring for a year, and then, I mean, the last time you were in the ring, you took the L.
Yeah,
and now you're back in the win column. Yeah. How did it feel?
It felt real good, man. I just, I'm not focused. I'm not like, I'm happy, don't get me wrong, but I'm also focused on my mistakes too. And I caught myself lunging twice, and staying in the pocket a little bit more than I should. But I'm back in the gym already. I took 2 days off, and I'm back already, man.
So are they gonna put you guys on the same card?
I don't know.
Like they did before?
Cool.
This time they put you guys back-to-back days. I was like, why didn't you guys just put them on the same card?
Yeah. Originally, I was supposed to be at the Fantasy Springs.
Yeah. Oh, you were supposed to be.
So we were trained. Me and Lex and I were trained together for weeks.
Oh, we still did.
Yeah, we were still trained together. And then one day, Hector, my coach, he was like, hey, they moved you. I was like, oh, so I was expecting. They moved you to May. But he's like, they moved you to the 27th. I was like, oh, that's one day after. I was like, all right, that's cool. He's like, where at? The Forum. I was like, oh, hell yeah. I've never fought there. So I was like, hell yeah. I was like, that's cool, man.
What'd you think, Lex? He's like, what? You got the Forum?
Yeah,
it's fine. It's fine.
Lex is like, what the hell, man?
No, it's fine. End of the day, we still got to go and do our jobs.
No, that's true. Yeah, because I thought about it. I was like, why do they have them a day apart? Why didn't they just put their brothers? Like,
originally that was the plan, was on the Fantasy Springs. Okay. But I guess, I don't know what happened.
That's cool. I mean, it still coincides because you guys essentially fought on almost the same day. So the training camp still,
training camp was the same together.
Yeah. So it still worked out. I mean, it would have sucked. They're like, oh, Ronny, we have to push you out 2 months or something.
Oh, that would have been
like, oh, come on, man. I've already been out for a year.
But I mean, the good thing about training together, especially with your younger brother, is like, not a lot of people know what you're going through when you're getting ready for a fight. You can't eat what you want to eat. You have curfew. You can't do certain things. And like, my wife was always like, oh, what do you want to do today? And then it was like on a weekend, I was like, oh, I want to go hang out with Lex. Because I always call him Lex. And she's like, oh. She kind of looked at me and I was like, I like hanging out with him because he knows what I'm going through.
That's true, though. Yeah. And especially because you guys are brothers. You guys aren't just like, friends who met at the gym or something.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you guys are friends, but you're also brothers who grew up together. So.
Yeah, definitely close. We share that side.
I could just imagine that conversation with your wife. Like, I know. Can I hang with your brother? Yeah, he knows what I'm doing.
Yeah, he's suffering just like I am.
Like, get off my back.
Chris Crawley too was with us the whole camp. So he fought a week before we did. So I told him too because it was his pro debut, and I told him, I was like, hey man, I was like. It was cool that you were with somebody in camp. And he's like, what do you mean? But I always make fun of him. Don't get mad. I always make fun of him. I was like, wait.
If he gets mad, you can get the hell out of here.
Because me and him always make fun of each other's accents. So I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, freaking. I was like, sometimes you're in camp by yourself. I was like, that sucks. You have to do sprints by yourself.
Yeah.
You have to do this by yourself. You have to go spar by yourself. I was like, I mean, we're all a unit. We were like literally all together the whole time. And it was Eric Duarte too. So I was like, you have that person to hang out with, because when you're in camp by yourself, it sucks because like your teammates, like obviously you're always following each other on Snapchat. You'll see him like, damn, this guy's over here. Like, damn, this guy's at Disneyland. No, this guy's like, damn, this guy's eating this, and I'm over here freaking can't eat this. So I was like, and he's like, yeah, man. He's like, it felt good, and it was just it was a good experience just being back in camp with your brother and your teammates.
So you were mentioning going through a training camp, and then you mentioned curfew. We have curfew. We have these dietary restrictions and stuff. Speaking of curfew, so you guys grew up in Santa Ana. You guys are still in Santa Ana, right?
Yeah. Santa Ana.
So Mike found out that Ronny, you got robbed for an iPod.
Yeah.
Oh, you found out? Yeah, man. I was so freaking pissed.
What happened there? Yeah, he was telling me a couple of days ago. Yeah. He was trying to find details. I was like, well, we've talked to him before. We've talked to Lex before. Talked to Ronny before. And then he was like, well, I found out that Ronny got robbed. Yeah. I was like, what? I was like, okay, we're going to ask him about that. What happened?
It was so funny, man, because it was during daylight, too. I think it was like 10 or 9 in the morning. I woke up, right, and I had the iPod Shuffle.
The Shuffle?
Right, yeah, the Shuffle. This was like years ago. So I was like, all right, man. I was like, I got to run. It was like one of those lazy days. So I put my earphones on. I go run, and I go in the river bend. There you go. And I started running. And I saw these two guys, and one of the guys I saw, he looked familiar. He felt like he looked like one of the guys that used to go to our gym. And I was like, man, that looks like, I can't remember his name. I think it's Carlos. Like, that looks like Carlos. And then they cornered me underneath the street. One of them pulled out a knife, and the other one pretended to have a gun. I didn't see it, but he was acting like if he had a gun. I was like, I'm not gonna find out.
Yeah.
Just for an iPad. So he's like, hey, give me your money. I was like, fool. I was like, I'm fucking running. I don't have money.
Yeah.
He's like, well, give me your iPad. I was like, damn. So I grabbed my iPad and I threw him. He's like, keep walking. I was like, man, I was so pissed and embarrassed because I don't know what you guys run to. But some of the songs I had on the iPad were embarrassing.
He was more embarrassed about that. He was like, just don't listen to the music.
I had some songs that you're like, man, these guys.
Okay, now you threw it out there. Now you got to tell us what songs you had. Give us at least one or two.
But imagine the guy. He's gonna that night he's gonna listen to. It's like, no, I'm gonna find them next morning.
I don't even want this.
I'm gonna find them next morning. I'm gonna give it back to him.
Yeah, one of the songs was Boy George, You Spin Me Right Round.
No way. Yeah, hey, that's a good song though. I'm on your side.
That was what?
That's a good song. I'm on your side.
To run to?
I was like,
hey, leave him alone. Your team Lex tonight.
So I was like, damn. I was like,
Lex should run to that.
That guy's probably gonna be with his friends because obviously they were gangsters and stuff. They're probably with his friends and be like, hey, you know who I mugged the other day? You know that fighter that they're always like, because not all the time, but back at home we have this certain newspaper that they show off, and I've been on the cover a couple of times. Like, you know that one fool? I freaking mugged that guy.
That's his claim to fame.
Yeah, no, he's like, I mugged that guy. Man, that guy's some whack ass. I was like, damn.
He had that Boy George song.
Yeah, that Boy George. And had some other songs. I think I had one Rihanna song too. I can't remember which one it was.
Hey man, whatever does the job, man. Whatever does the job. If that gets you going, hey, that means next time when you come out for your entrance music, Boy George.
No. I have Pandora, so when they look at my playlist, it's not individual songs.
I'm gonna be so disappointed if he comes out to anything else other than Boy George.
That was a good song, though. That was a good song.
Oh man, but it's good to have to have you back in the ring.
Yeah, of course.
Because last time you were in the ring was against Rey Vargas.
No, I was all right. I was all Alvanisian, yeah.
Alvanisian, that's right. Yeah. But you fought Rey Vargas.
I fought Rey Vargas. Yes, I did.
That guy. How does that guy make that weight?
That's a good question.
So big.
That's a good question. From what I heard. Supposedly they said he was going to move up to 126 like 5 years ago, but he's still making 126.
He struggled when we saw him at Fantasy Springs.
He did.
Because at first when I was coming back, I don't know what it is about me, man, but I always have to get that. I always have to avenge that loss. I don't know if it's just me or any other fighter. You just got to avenge that loss. I was like, hey, you know what? I was telling Robert, I was telling Gold, I was like, I want this fight. And they're like, well, he's going to move up to 26. I was like, you know what? Eventually I'll get to 126.
Right.
Yeah, but I was like, I'm not too focused on certain people. So I was just like, oh, whatever. But from what I heard, he was gonna move up to 126.
We'll see. I mean,
he must struggle to make the weight.
Right.
yeah, he's
It's like fighting a giant.
Yeah,
6 foot. No,
He's like, I don't know how he is. He's really tall.
yeah,
You rocked him in the fight, though.
You did.
I know
Yeah.
I did. I just, to be honest with you guys, like I wish there's certain fights in that fight more than any other fight that I can remember. I got more nervous than I should have, and I felt like when I rocked him, I should have jumped on him, but it just, I don't know. I wasn't dazed, and I didn't jump on it, and that's one of the things that I was kicking myself for months. It honestly took me like over a year to get over the fact that happened.
Yeah.
I
can imagine.
I was so mad. I was so mad. I was mad and devastated at the same time. So
Yeah.
But he beat me fair and square. It's just he was a better fighter that night, physically and mentally. And I didn't take anything away from him. But it's just it is what it is.
Yeah. No, you're right though. But I mean, like he's a big guy at that weight, and you're already, it's already a world title fight. It's a big moment. So
He's been champion for a while.
He's been champion for a while, yeah. But it's just kind of like him and Munguia are kind of like in the same boat where like they're big, but they can make the weight and they got titles. They're like, well, let's just keep doing it.
Well, Adam Munguia was going to move up to 160 like already.
Well, yeah, I think
he should because he lost the last fight.
Yeah,
a lot of people are saying that. Yeah. A lot of people are saying that. You guys really think he lost the last fight? I only sat up to the 7th round.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Because when I first
thought he won the opening rounds and like we're in the 6th, like the 5th to like the 8th, I think we saw, and then the other guy was just tagging him, but he didn't have any pop, so it didn't hurt him.
Well, I think that's what it was. Is that the guy didn't really have pop? I mean, yeah, you're scoring points, and it depends on how you look at it. There's the judges, look at different things,
of course,
and they have different angles and everything. But there's some people who look like, okay, well, the punches aren't really like affecting him. You're landing, but there's nothing. It's not hurting. And there's people who take that into account. So but yeah, Mike thinks he lost.
He did.
Yeah, he texted me right after. He's like, "Hey, he lost that one, but he got the W."
Even he's on DAZN, right? Even DAZN were like being open and honest about it. They were saying like in the last round, he was like, "Munguia's gonna have to knock him out."
Oh, really?
But then he got a bit of home cooking. So
yeah.
Who knows, man?
Yeah. Let me ask you, Mike. Who are your favorite fighters?
Yeah, Mike. Who's your favorite fighter?
Lex.
Yeah. Hey, I'll give you that one. That's a pretty good one.
Current fighters?
Yeah. Your top 3 favorite fighters.
I bet you they're all English.
Anthony Joshua's good. He's a badass fighter. I'm not gonna lie. He's a badass fighter.
Yeah.
It's a good question. I'm trying to think. Current fighters who I like watching.
Yeah. Like man, this guy, I have to watch him fight.
At least give us one.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Canelo's pretty good. I like watching him. Anthony Joshua's good.
Yeah, he's a good fighter.
Hey,
did DAZN pay you to say those names? No.
I know, right? Wait a minute.
I wish they did. I wish they did.
But
I think of a third. Lex.
Yeah, see, I knew. I was like, you got the third one. He's right there.
He's on DAZN. He's Golden Boy. So.
Yeah. Hey, why do you have a DAZN tattoo underneath?
I know, man.
Above my heart.
But you're both scheduled to come back at least before the end of the year, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, you guys. What's the longest layoff you both have had? Was this the longest layoff you had?
Yeah,
because I was assuming this was. What about for you, Lex?
Yeah, my last fight was on the Canelo card. Even before that was in March of last year. So 6 months and then 7 months.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, so that's.
Those must have been brutal. Well, at least for Ronny too.
Yeah.
You were a little longer.
To be honest with you, man, I didn't. After I lost the last loss, I was like struggling, mentally. It was hard for me.
I get it.
I was like, damn. Like a lot of people be like, oh, a lot of people think it's easy, but it's very hard, especially. I've always liked to win. I can't even lose freaking checks to my wife or my coach. Like, I get so mad. Like just even when me and Lex have this game that we play amongst each other. It's like we say movie quotes to one another.
Yeah.
And if you get it wrong, I get a point. So I hate losing at that. So like when I lost, man, it was hard for me to get out of that funk, Yeah. It was really, really hard. It was just, it's true what they say, man. You can't turn to certain stuff. The only thing that heals a broken heart is time. And that's what I had.
True. I
had a broken heart, man.
Yeah.
It was broken because obviously I've always loved boxing. I've always loved the level of competition, the going into camp for 8 weeks and just the sweat, the sacrifice, you know, all the energy you put into it, and obviously, like, don't get me wrong, I love to eat, but man, I love boxing more than I love to eat. You know? So freaking, and then when you lose, it's just like, damn, it's like, man, it was hard for me to get back.
But you're back on the bike now,
I'm back on the bike, man. I'm back on the bike, and I know a lot of fighters would never like to say, oh, you know, I'm just gonna go give it out there, and if I lose, I didn't lose. But it's like, nah, man, I gotta go out there, and I have to, like, you know, I'm not saying I'm never gonna lose again, but I just hope it doesn't happen again, because I'm willing to go that extra mile to prevent that from happening.
That's good, man. That's good. That's good news. Because I mean, because I even asked, you know, some people from Golden Boy, hey man, when's Ronny coming back? I think I asked your brother last time he was here too. He's like, oh, you know, he'll be back soon, you know. And so it's good. But when they announced that you were coming on the Zone, I was like, oh, okay, well, he's back, you know. And then they put you guys essentially back to back.
Back to back.
It's like, okay, you know, they're keeping him on the same schedule. Because I mean, how many times have you guys been on the same card now?
3 times.
2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times, right?
Yeah, the StubHub and Fantasy Springs.
Right.
Times.
And then the hangar's right there by you guys,
Yeah.
right? Close to Mesa?
Yeah.
Hopefully we can go back there.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was a cool experience. But
bring on all
the outcome was not good for me.
But it was cool fighting right there, though, right?
Yeah.
ESPN.
ESPN, you know, you're in your backyard, you know, all the restaurants and stuff like that. But
you can bring in a good crowd.
Yeah.
You must have sold some tickets for that.
We sold out, and we had to add more seats to the place.
We did.
Hey, that's never bad news to hear, because you always want to hear that, like, oh, we're gonna add more seats.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, man, I would love to fight back in OC, but I would want to fight in a bigger venue. Venue, of course. That's the goal, man.
Right.
So to keep growing, you know, not just as a fighter, but in and out of the ring too. And obviously, if you can sell out, hopefully one day, you know, knock on wood, Arrowhead Pond said that the Honda Center. They changed it.
I'm glad you said that.
They changed it.
Because I still call it the Arrowhead Pond.
Yeah, me too. I used to watch wrestling there.
We had this conversation last time.
I think we did, right? Yeah, because like
I had to catch myself.
Because I know, and I'm glad you said that, because I've said that around people, like Arrowhead Pond.
Yeah, what is
It's
that?
the Honda Center.
I had no idea what that was.
Yeah, the Honda Center used to be called the Arrow. He's from England. That's why. He's from England.
Across the pond.
Across the pond.
Arrowhead Pond.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because everybody else gets mad at me, like, oh, it's not the Arrowhead Pond. It's the Honda Center.
We used to watch wrestling there, man. Come on.
Yeah, man. Monday Night Raw and stuff.
Hell yeah.
Monday Night Raw.
They had WrestleMania there once, too.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
It's going to be at the new stadium, I hear, the Ram Stadium.
I read that.
WrestleMania's gonna
I
be
read
there?
that. Yeah, I read that.
Wrestling was cool when it was WWF. Now when it's
still cool.
WWF,
Yeah,
a lot of
when they changed it to the E, it was like, oh, man.
Stone Cold, The Rock.
Back in the
that
day,
was the
yeah.
best.
Fun, man.
Mankind, everywhere.
My favorite wrestler of all time.
Generation
Stone Cold
X.
Steve Austin, obviously too.
Mick Foley.
The Rock.
Mike's looking at us like, what the hell are you guys talking about?
He keeps saying The Rock. He's like, The Rock.
No. He said the Beatles.
The Beatles.
The British Bulldog.
The British Bulldog.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah.
Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Oh, yeah, I remember it too.
Hey, we might as well just turn this into a wrestling podcast. Man.
Damn.
You guys are bringing back old memories.
Yeah, man. Hey, but I'm really glad you used the Arrowhead Pond. I was like, man, nobody else ever remembered it was called the pond.
I would love to feel something out like that. Or like I told Lex, my coach, that one day, like hopefully everything goes good. Freaking, I would love to fight at the stadium, at the Angel Stadium. That would be dope.
That'd be cool.
That'd be dope.
That's right by your guys' house,
Yeah,
too, right
that's
there.
dope.
Yeah,
Right
Angel
there.
Stadium right there in Anaheim, California. Yeah. We got Ronny Rios and Alexis Rocha. I'm always going to call you Lex. Do you like people want to call you Alexis? Or?
Yeah, you can call me whatever you want.
I'm going to call you Lex.
Call me whatever you want.
But
That's cool.
when you introduce yourself, what do you tell people? Alexis?
Yeah, I say Alexis.
Yeah?
Yeah, I say
you can
Alexis.
call me Lex.
No, I mean, if I don't know. That's
Because that's like one of those names that you can call me Lex.
You can
What's
call
up?
me Lex.
Like,
Well, everyone calls me Lex, but
yeah.
you know, you can call me Alexis. It's weird when people say Alex. Like, hey, Alex. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm not used to that either.
I point at myself.
Are
Like,
you talking to me?
looking at me?
Yeah.
But yeah, Lex. People usually call me.
But talking about, big arenas, big stadiums.
Yeah, of course.
We got a pretty big, probably the biggest fight of the year this weekend.
Yeah.
Canelo Alvarez, Daniel Jacobs.
That's gonna be a good fight. That's gonna be a good fight.
Man, what
He's the man to ask. He's been in camp with him.
Yeah.
were you in camp this time?
No.
Not this time, right?
I fought Kirkland.
When you fought Kirkland. When you fought Kirkland.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, you mentioned that the first time you were here on the show before that. For our listeners who don't know, Lex has been a sparring partner for Canelo in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think of the matchup?
I'm going with Canelo. I think all around he's the better fighter. But people are underestimating Jacobs. You know, he's sneaky. You know, has good fundamentals. He has pop. First of all, pop that could hurt Canelo.
He's taller.
He's taller. He's got a reach advantage. He's in a box. I don't think he's gonna bang with Canelo. He's gonna use every tools that he has to beat him. But I have a slight advantage with Canelo.
Decision?
I think so. I mean, if Golovkin could have knocked out Jacobs, I think Canelo.
Do you think Triple G won that fight? Because some people, I mean, I had Triple G winning, but some people were like, no, I'm gonna give it to Jacobs.
I don't know.
Triple G and Jacobs fought.
I don't watch that fight, so I can't. No, I didn't watch it. I haven't watched all of it. I've seen a couple rounds. I saw the first 5. Golovkin dominated, but Jacobs again creeped out and won the later rounds.
Yeah. But I think what helped Triple G was with that knockdown.
With that knockdown in like first, second round?
I think it was within the first 5 or 6.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah.
When I watched it live, I thought Jacobs had won.
Really?
Yeah, man. It's always different live too. I don't know why.
Yeah, but then when you go back and you kind of watch it with an eye for like.
But then you got the commentators kind of.
You're right. It's a lot different.
Shot.
I mean, you guys know it's a lot different watching a fight even when you're in the building. It is watching on TV.
Yeah, because when you're in the building, I remember we saw so many fights in the building. You're like, damn. Like when I saw, who did I see? It was like one of the fights of the year at the StubHub.
Oh, Francisco Vargas versus
Alito. I remember I saw that live.
What a matchup.
Yeah, man. I was like, how the heck are these guys still standing? I was like, damn. Like in person, the punches were hard. And then I saw it on TV, and I was like, and then when you see the punches landing on TV, they're like, oh, it doesn't like, I don't know if it's the sound, but it doesn't seem like in person, you're like, oh, damn, that was a freaking hard shot. But in TV, you're like, oh, it doesn't sound as hard as it does in person.
Probably the whole crowd and cheering on.
Yeah, that was an awesome fight. That was probably one of the best fights I've seen live, though.
Yeah, that was an awesome fight. Fight of the year and a lot of different publications for that, too.
Fight of the year, there's 2 pretty much on your card on Friday. Danny Roman and Doheny and the Ferradas fight.
Yeah.
Oh, those are good fights.
Yeah, Danny Roman retained. He's unified champion now.
Yeah, he's a unified champion.
Who you could possibly fight.
No, that would be a good fight, man. I have a lot of respect for Danny, and hopefully in the future, maybe if all goes well, we can obviously fight or unify. If I can.
But you were talking about going back to like how you kind of felt a little defeated. You had a broken heart coming off a loss. I mean, like Danny Roman has losses on his record too.
I know.
And look at where he's at now.
Yeah, of course. No. I mean, I don't need like to look at another fight and be like, right. Of course not. Yeah. Not in a bad way, but it's like it's just like for me, it was just like I think the fight with Rey Vargas was the one that broke my heart because I was like, man, I was so close to that world title and I lost it. And I remember walking down the steps from the fight. I remember I was just thinking, damn, that's it. My chance is gone. Like I blew it. Never again. And it took me a while to snap out of that. And it took me a very long time because a lot of people, trust me, man, a lot of people, I can give advice to somebody else, but until you put yourself in that person's situation and you feel what they feel and the heartbreak, it's a whole different story.
Yeah, it's a different feeling.
So like, my heart goes off to my hat goes off to Vladimir Klitschko, who, freaking, I remember when he got knocked out by Corey Sanders in 2 rounds. And then afterwards, he got knocked out by Lamont Brewster in 5 rounds. And then he came back and he fought Devontae Williamson, and it was like a no decision. People were like freaking writing that guy off, but somehow that fool came back.
Yeah, he did.
And ruled the heavyweight division for 10 years. Like 10 years. And he gave Anthony Joshua, who in my opinion is one of the top heavyweights right now. I think Anthony Joshua is.
Oh yeah, that was one of the best heavyweight fights I've ever seen.
That was a good fight. Yeah. I wouldn't say best, but it was up there. I mean, for me,
at least in recent memory.
Recent years. You know what fight a lot of people don't talk about as far as heavyweights throughout history is Riddick Bowe versus Evander Holyfield. That was a good one. That was an awesome fight. Yeah. Awesome fights. I think it was a trilogy, right?
It was.
Crazy decisions in it.
Yeah, there was some good fights.
But you're right though, like when people think about the heavyweights from that era or anything, they'll talk about Holyfield, Tyson, and that stuff. But that was a trilogy. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a great trilogy, man. That was one of the best. And they're heavyweights, man. That's a very, very rare for heavyweights to hit each other the way they were hitting each other and still be standing. Heavyweights is like, sometimes you see heavyweight fights where it's like, perfect example, George Foreman, when he knocked out Michael Moore, you just like what the heck? Like he just failed. That punch did not look hard. These guys were freaking swinging for the fences and they were still trading. That was an unbelievable trilogy, man.
Man, but going back to Canelo, Danny Jacobs this weekend, unified matchup, IBF, WBA, and WBC middleweight titles. So Danny Jacobs has the IBF.
Yeah.
And Canelo has the WBA, WBC, and the ring, right?
Yeah.
So who else is the champion out there? The WBO is Andrade, huh?
Yeah, Demetrius Andrade. Yeah.
Andrade.
Andrade. No, you're right, because I've always like, how do you pronounce it? What is it, Mike?
I say Andrade.
Andrade, yeah.
Well, you say Andrade, but what is it?
So what I say?
What you say? But okay, so you guys made your pick on that. Canelo?
I got Canelo.
By, you said decision?
Yeah.
Split?
Unanimous.
Yeah. Ronnie?
You know what? That fight, I mean, I'm a Canelo fan.
Right.
I'm also like, I also call it the way I see it. Like, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo, possibly knocks him out. But
if he knocks him out.
No, but the fights that I've seen Canelo struggle, they're all against slick fighters. And Daniel Jacobs is a slick fighter. And he's a big fighter too.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Daniel Jacobs gives him a tough fight, and a lot of people think Jacobs, and it's controversial, and they make and they set it up for a part 2, and people are gonna be like, "Oh man, I knew they were gonna do this." Trust me, that's
you know what? I could see that.
Yeah,
especially
another controversial win for Canelo.
Yeah. Hey, but when you're a big star like that, you're always gonna get criticized.
Yeah, you're always gonna get criticized.
It comes with the territory. It happened to Pacquiao, it happened to Mayweather, De La Hoya, Chavez, Cotto, Canelo.
Everybody.
When you get to that level. In anything, not just boxing, criticism is going to come with it. So, I mean, they know, they're in the business, so they get it. But you know what? I was thinking about that too, is that it's probably going to be a close decision or a close matchup regardless. Yeah. And they're probably going to be like, well, let's run it back.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Triple G's going to be like, come on, what about me? Like,
because when Canelo fought, you guys remember when he fought Austin Trout?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he knocked him down.
He knocked him the first time.
But he also gave him some trouble too. And people were like, I remember there was a lot of people, I personally thought Canelo won. But people were like, oh man, it was a close fight, this and that. And Trout is a lot smaller than Daniel Jacobs.
That's true.
Was it the Lara fight?
He also I thought he won, but he also gave
everyone problems.
He's got that Cuban style. That's why, man. Those Cuban fighters.
Textbook style.
It'll be interesting to see what Canelo does though, whether he goes in for like the counter punching or what he did in the Triple G second fight, where he takes the center of the ring.
Yeah. That was a good fight. That was a good fight.
Like, which Canelo are we going to see? That would be the one.
Yeah.
Well, but regardless, he's always improved.
Yeah.
Like his loss to Mayweather, like you can tell, especially after the fight when he was on screen, that he was emotional about it. But I mean, how many people have fought Mayweather in recent years and have become better following a loss to him? Like there's not too many. Canelo's literally every fight. You can see that he's become better. And it's just like, man, like he's really like, I don't know, in terms of at that
he was
level.
only 23 when he fought Mayweather?
22?
Mayweather picked him at the right time.
He knew. But I mean, like, hey, they made a ton of money. It's like over 2 million buys. I think
it was 4 million buys, wasn't it?
Was for that one?
Was it 2.2 million or 4.1 million buys?
I think it was in the twos.
I think the Loya was more.
No, I think Pacquiao versus Mayweather.
Pacquiao. That one smashed it.
But
Canelo Mayweather, I think, did like 2 point something.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought. Yeah. My bad. I was thinking.
Yeah, Mayweather Pacquiao did like 4 or something like that. But yeah,
it's gonna be an interesting
but
fight.
Pay-per-view's dead, right?
The zone's in.
The zones.
I love the zone.
Well, we got someone over here, man.
Show us your tattoo.
Hey, you know what? I think you would be a good commentator, man. I think you would be a good commentator.
What's wrong with Danny?
No.
Yeah, come on. I was on your team, Ronny. Come on.
No, I know, but I'm not bad mouthing anybody.
I'm Team Lex now. But going through that fight card also, Virgil Ortiz is also on that card.
Yeah. Against Herrera too.
That
should be a good one.
And I mean, like, I know a lot of people, at least online, everybody on the internet, but especially the boxing community has an opinion. People are saying, "Oh, Herrera's done." Like, obviously, I'm picking Ortiz to win.
Yeah.
Virgil's coming up, and he's, I think he deserves a lot more. Exposure because he's good.
Yeah,
I like him a lot.
He's explosive too.
Yeah, he's very explosive.
He's very explosive.
He's a very quiet guy too. And he just kind of does his thing in the ring.
Have you sparred him, Lex?
Yeah, I've sparred him.
You have sparred him. That's right.
Sparred him. Yeah.
So how was that?
Yeah, man. Like you say, he's a beast too. You know, we're both one of the top golden boy prospects. You know, it was good work. I could definitely see why everyone's saying he's 12-0 and 12 knockouts for a reason. So can't wait to see what he does this weekend.
It's good because they're kind of like putting it out to the press as he's 12-0, 12 knockouts, and Herrera's never been knocked out.
Yeah.
So they're trying to say like which one's going to end.
Yeah.
Is his knockout streak going to end? Or?
That's true. Yeah. I mean, if he knocks him out, I think it's a pretty big.
Yeah,
that's a pretty big accomplishment.
Yeah.
But I mean, also that's also a selling point for Virgil is that every win he has is a knockout.
Yeah.
It's just like
makes people want to.
It makes people want to tune in. Like, this guy's knocking everybody out.
Yeah, of course.
He's
a very good technician. He's a good technician too, man. He uses his jab and he puts his punches together. He's not like those typical power punchers that just go in and just they tire themselves out when they punch out. He's very good, like fundamental wise too. I saw him training too, and I saw him spar too. So I was like, damn.
And also on that card, John Ryder, who was actually supposed to fight my man David Lemieux, who I still like. I know people write him off, but I still think he has a lot left in the tank.
He's never in a boring fight.
He's never in a boring fight.
Yeah.
But
he just can't seem to get into the ring. Doesn't make weight, gets injured.
Who? Just Lemieux? Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
he was supposed to be on the last Canelo card, right?
Was this at 160 or 168?
But he had messed up his hand or something.
This time.
Yeah. Was this at 160 or 168?
168.
It was 168, right?
Yeah, I think he would have made it comfortable.
Yeah, I think he was because he even said in the previous fight and even the last maybe two fights you can tell he was having some trouble making the weight.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this next fight he has to move up. So even though like it would have been nice.
He's not that big of a guy though. He's just thick. He's short, stocky.
Yeah. Hey, but he could crack though.
Yeah. He
can crack. That's why he said he's never really in a boring fight.
No, man, he's always in a good fight.
I can really see him.
And the chicks love it, man.
Yeah, I can really see him against Canelo in the future.
I think that's what they've been wanting because they keep putting him on the undercards.
Yeah,
and then he gets injured. Doesn't make weight. So
they're Golden Boy's trying, but
because they know it's going to be a knockout for Canelo.
But Lemieux's
it'll be a good fight though.
Exactly.
It'll be interesting, and that's what I think every promoter's trying to do. Like they're just trying to put good cards together because that's what boxing needs, man. Boxing needs good fights and stuff. Win or lose, that's what people want to see are good fights. People want to see Gotti Ward. People want to see Castillo versus Corrales. They don't want to see
the card that you were on was one of the best I've been to.
That was a good card.
They don't want to see Robert Easter and
Rancis Bartholomew.
Yeah, I didn't see that fight.
12 rounds, 106 punches landed.
Total for both.
For
both? Oh, wow.
For both.
Wow, I didn't see him.
Yeah, for both. I mean...
And it was for the WBA and IBO world titles.
That's insane.
And that was it. That's all they threw.
Yeah. It was like they were both like kind of like, okay, you come first. No, you come first. Like
terrible.
Yeah, there was a lot of people complaining about that fight. But hey, it is what it is. Every fight can't be perfect, even if you want it to be.
Of course.
Because I mean, sometimes there's one fighter who tries to make the fight, and the other fighter just isn't engaging, and it's just like, well, I'm trying to give something to the fans and do my thing, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. And then wrapping up with the news and notes here, probably some of the most shocking news of the year. Triple G leaves his trainer of 9 years, Abel Sanchez. Okay, immediate reaction when you heard that. Lex, let's start with you.
Wow, you can't believe it. You've been with someone that's trained you pretty much, when you've been all successful and to leave. I don't know, but I don't know what goes on behind closed doors, so I can't say much. But it was shocking.
Right.
I was shocked when I heard it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know Abel Sanchez has been doing a couple interviews the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And he's saying, he's saying it was about like negotiations, money, and stuff like that, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, and they're good people too. I've been up in camp with the Big Bear with Abel.
Yeah.
And they're good people. Abel's a good guy, good coach. He knows the rest of his fighters. Like I said, I don't know what happens behind closed doors.
No, you're right. Yeah. I mean, but for 9 years, like that's one thing I never expected. I was like, okay, Triple G's obviously, especially signing this, lucrative deal with DAZN. He's like, okay, the last couple fights of his career, he's been with Abel Sanchez. There's no reason to leave him. He's right there. Mm-hmm. But I mean,
there's a lot of money though, 10%. Because that's what they say it was.
That's what's reported. But but even Abel doesn't even want to reveal details, which I don't blame him. I respect that, which is cool. But that's just, you think about, I mean, like you guys know, like fighters and leave trainers all the time. Like, look at Jesse Vargas. He switches trainers like every other fight. So, like, right now he's with Freddie Roach and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, he did well. He got a knockout for the first time in, 7 years. So he did well. But, it's a part of the business.
Yeah.
People switch all the time.
Fighters switch all the time when they suffer a first loss. So it could have been that.
Yeah.
But then you hear the $100 million contract that he just signed. And don't get me wrong, they were saying that Abel's entitled to 10%, right?
They were saying normally a manager's just, you'll know better than us, but it's 10%. And then
that's like an industry standard.
Triple G offered him 2%. That's still $2 million.
Yeah. I mean, but at the end,
at the end of the day, that's like the person that brought you up. Like,
you're right.
Yeah, that's the person brought you up, right? If somebody brought you up and in your contract it said give him 10%, what would you say? Hey, you know what? I'm gonna stay loyal to this guy. This guy was training me when no one knew who I was. Still regardless.
Yeah.
10%. He's still gonna stay with $90 million.
I suppose,
after taxes, he's probably going to end up with anywhere from $50 to $60 million after taxes.
And he's already a millionaire.
He's already made over $50 million in his last 3 or 4 fights. So $60 million after taxes, that's
you're right.
lot.
Yeah.
So who even if you were to make freaking 3% interest off that $60 million, you're going to make $180,000 a year pre-tax.
Yeah, you gotta be my accountant.
Yeah.
Right?
No, so you're gonna.
I found my new tax.
So think about it. Like, okay, $10 million is a lot of money, but you're still gonna end up with $60 million after taxes. That's after you pay Uncle Sam, obviously.
Yeah, Uncle Sam always gets his money.
Regardless, people are gonna say,
"Oh, he didn't graduate high school."
People are gonna say, "Okay."
He's got some knowledge, man.
People are gonna say, "Oh yeah, he has to keep all the money he has to because these are his last fights." $60 million is more than enough for a lifetime for somebody, right? Somebody that, unless obviously you go and you spend lucrative on cars and stuff like that. But I don't see Triple G on that stage. He's a family man, from what I know.
Right.
I actually know him, but he's a family man, so I don't see him spending millions of dollars on cars and stuff like that. I see him obviously smart with his money. He's a family man. He probably has his house paid out for and stuff like that. So $60 million is more than enough. I don't think there has to be something besides that they're not saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we see all these reports and all these details that are being reported, and like only him, Abel Sanchez and Triple G know what happened, like the intimate details. So, whatever. I mean, there's obviously something else going on there, but I don't think we'll ever know. Which is cool. I respect it. Especially you guys being as fighters. There's always stuff you kind of keep behind the curtain.
Yeah.
It's a loyalty thing. It's a confidentiality thing. Definitely. So we get it. We get the business. Everybody gets it. But I mean, that was huge news, man. Who do you guys think he goes with? I think he's obviously training with somebody right now.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he is, but I can't say it though. I think he is.
Why did everyone go all quiet?
I know.
Well, I don't know, because I was trying to think who he went with. And
I'll say I would say Freddie Roach or someone.
That's what I was thinking.
I was thinking Freddie Roach.
Because if he
lives in Santa Monica,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see Ronny's reactions.
I'm not saying nothing, man.
People were talking about he might train with his brother for this fight and then look for somebody after. Buddy McGirt was another one because he trained Kovalev.
Maybe.
And then obviously he's had a few people that he's in their later stages of their career that he's, like Kovalev, he turns him around. And
or
then also
Lomachenko's dad.
Arturo Gatti is another one that you hadn't.
Yeah, Arturo Gatti was awesome too. He reinvented Arturo Gatti. So
he seems to be the flavor of the month, doesn't he?
Right.
McGirt.
Yeah. But I'm on Lex's side right here. I thought Freddie Roach too because Triple G does live in Santa Monica, and I was like, well, Hollywood's right there. I mean, even though LA traffic sucks, it still takes like 2 hours to get there. But I thought about that. It's a closer drive and stuff like that. But who knows?
Yeah.
But that's gonna be big news. Whoever he announces. Yeah. But I mean, he could go with his brother for this fight. You never know.
Robert Garcia.
See, but that's like, I would like that if I had any say. Like, we'll go with Robert Garcia because I feel like that's kind of like, it's intriguing.
Yeah. He did an interview saying he would take him, obviously.
Well, of course he would take it. Like, but, who knows? But I'm sure it'll come out within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. But wrapping up here, guys, we appreciate you guys coming on.
No, appreciate
Lex
you
for coming on again. Ronny for the first time.
Yeah,
first of many, guys.
Hopefully you guys can bring us back again.
Yeah, it was a pleasure with you guys, man.
Fun. You guys gotta let us come out to the gym and
Oh, of course.
Get some content, man.
Just bring a vest because outside the gym.
I'm definitely not bringing an iPod shuffle. So I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Anyone's got Ronny's iPod?
Yeah.
I'm gonna send it in.
Probably sold it on the
It's
black market or
it's probably
something.
eBay or something right now. But go ahead and plug whatever you guys got, man. Social media, anything you guys got coming up, the gym in Santa Ana.
Yeah.
Go for it, man. The floor is yours.
Yeah, man. You can follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram at Alexis Rocha 777.
You can follow me. I think it's Ronny Rios 64 at yahoo.com. And I also want to thank sorry.
Hey, we throw out his email.
Ronny Rios 64 at Instagram or whatever. I can't remember. But anyways, I also want to do a special thank you to my team, especially Hector Lopez, who's been there through thick and thin. And I also want to thank my sponsors, Trans United Real Estate and Cal Attorney Law. Thank you guys for always sticking with us through thick and thin and continue giving the support that a lot of fighters need, So thank you guys so much. And Santa Ana, of course, man, that's our hometown.
Yeah.
They always step up for us,
Always supportive.
Yeah, of course, man.
Santa Ana. Put our city on the map.
Yeah, of course. And my family too, man. I also want to wish Alexis the best of luck in the future. I'll be there through everything. And, thank you so much for having us again, man. It was a pleasure. You guys have honestly been great company. And obviously I know when you do an interview and there's people that on the other side like you guys where you can just kind of get the feel that they weren't sincere, but I got the opposite from you guys. I felt very at home. I felt very very welcome. So thank you guys so much, man.
You would have picked that up if you came with me last time.
I know. Last time
it's cool. He's here. It's cool.
I was a little chubby last time, so I didn't want to let out.
Imagine TMZ photo. Rios looks out like.
I was just gonna be like eating a donut or something.
And a can of Coke.
There you go.
Thank you.
But Mike, want to throw anything in there before we wrap up?
Obviously, if you listen to us on iTunes, if you just give us a 5-star review, the more reviews we get, obviously the further up the rankings we go.
You're right. So once again, we're back. I was out last week, but now we're good for the foreseeable future. And thank you again for listening to episode 31 of The Last Round. Thanks again to Alexis Rocha and Ronny Rios of Golden Boy Promotions who are coming off W's, and hopefully they keep continuing. You guys can't lose anymore, man. Don't lose. We need some W's. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. But once again, this is The Last Round.
Thanks for supporting and listening to the show. Follow us at The Last Round 12 on social media. Rate, review, and subscribe.